Hello, everyone. Episode 15. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, whatever it may be. Thank you for being here. Just feeling through everything. Such incredible shifts are taking place with all the ego deaths that's happening and all the exposure of the control matrix. We're getting to watch and witness all kinds of feelings and emotions and projections, reactions. So I think it's good to talk about pain and unburdening your story. So part of the recapitulation, or I guess an adjusted version almost, and sometimes a more efficient way to recapitulate, is to witness, to have a friend that is doing this work with you, and they just are in place to listen to your story, and you tell the whole thing, and it's not in a conversation. There's space being held for you to speak and share your story, and you just tell it all. So it's not like you can sit down and explain your whole life in one setting. You pick subjects and proceed. And then ideally the other person switches and you both get breaks, and the one listening is really listening, therefore really receiving it. You're being a conduit for the universe, playing a role as witness to this magical being who is releasing sharing their true self, right? Because in every story is who we are. In all of that pain or in all of that joy, there lies the essence of us. Um, you can, if you don't have somebody to do this work with, you can ask a tree. Trees are aware, living, conscious beings. Some of them will say no. You can keep asking. Eventually, you'll find one that will say yes. I mean, I know that's weird for you guys, maybe, but if you don't get a yes, it's a no. And that's actually a huge teaching in shamanism. If it's not a yes, it's a no. And that's in every decision in life. Yeah. If you're not getting a clear yes, it's still a no. It may later be a yes, but unless it's solid, clear, guided, happening, you just can cause yourself a lot of confusion trying to force something, wanting something to be a yes when it's still a no. Again, it doesn't mean it won't become a yes. I think we're very, I don't want people to be in fear. I don't want you to feel like you should have to do this or anything. Like your shields, okay, all of which is keeping you from source, or let's say all of the things that have attached to us, um, and suffocated us, they have served their purpose and are ready to fall off. And so we're in a new time. The veil's coming down. The veil is shamanic, not information. It's tied to information because everything's tied to the energy, and shamanic energy is therefore associated. But it's all, the veil was shamanic. It's it was needed. The veil was in place for a reason, because we are so much more than we realize. And so we're in a delicate transition as the genetic memory comes in and remember who we are. It's not going to be the veil's not going to be in place anymore, because we're going to suddenly see through it, and then it won't serve a purpose and it'll go away. And then we're going to come to face with the fact we live in an energetic predatorial realm of perception, and that dreaming and all of these aspects of our life are necessary. There's nothing to hold back the true pressure. And so we're built for pressure. We're designed to hold, and we have capacity for intent. But we were domesticated. And the veil keeps us from having to feel what's really out there, which is kind of like going out into the wilderness in Alaska with nothing. It's the same concept. But for a dreamer, it's to lose your shields and to start to take care of yourself in a new way. because you know that you're no longer able to use the suffocating, stagnant energy as a way to keep you from feeling everything. And so you have to start to become a warrior, you become impeccable in order to be able to hang in there, because the moments of joy are worth all of what you're willing to give up in order to have access to that connection to source. Now, that takes years to even make that decision. And so, like I said, unless it's a yes, it's a no. So I'll try to circle back to whatever the hell I was talking about. I don't know now, other than, but I'm sure it will. Um, but that energy will fall off of you, and if you let it, because it's no longer serving a purpose. So you've already arrived. Everything's okay. If you can just stay alive and not freak out and take care of yourself, provide for yourself, and learn from the world and not be at odds with people. Um, so this is a test. And it's not a test where you can pass or fail. It's just an assessment, right? So the assessment is, how much do you want to be free? Because everything's going to come and test you to see if you truly choose freedom or if you're choosing the ego. Because even in this time of change, our ego wants to attach to like being right, or having done the right thing, or being in 5D instead of 3D, or when all that's bullshit. We're all together in this. There's no separateness. That's an illusion. This is just an incredible story that will liberate you if you enter it. And it's through your own entry. And so you're naturally going to just heal. It's just that you're clinging to the things that were given to you as shields. Even though they're unhealthy, you're still holding on to them, because you know that to be raw is really intense, and your being is scared because you're a domesticated person who's being given an opportunity to enter the wild, and that's scary as it should be. So that's okay. Just try to come to terms with that so you can admit it. It doesn't mean you have to go live in the wilderness in Alaska alone. It means you have to get used to spending time in a raw state of perception without your emotional shields to protect you. It's uncomfortable, but it feels incredible once you get used to it. You can start going into the wilderness at night alone without a flashlight, and don't ever bring light into the woods at night. Like, that's disrespectful. If you can't go in without that stuff, then just stay in your own little reality, in your own, like, learn. You don't need to see that well in order to navigate. You just have to slow down. I walk in without moonlight in pitch black wilderness as part of my training and part of my connection and feeling capacity to feel. But that's kind of more of an allegory or symbology of what it takes to want to be in a raw state of perception, or be willing to. The movements I do open that door. The recapitulation ensures that you've then began the journey. And when you recapitulate, you get light. And the lightness just makes dreaming possible. You don't even have to try to do dreaming. If you really recapitulate, dreaming will become accessible. And dreaming isn't something you just do at night. It's something I do during the day all the time. I'm lucid. I'm clairvoyant in that respect. I can foresee things and feel them and sensitive to them. Time is not linear. I dream about things that happen. It stops being a big deal. Lucid dreaming stops being a big deal. I dream in like dope software, like I'll be in a dream, and then like this other dream will like show up in the corner and ask to like come in, and then all these other ones, and it's like a chat room with all these like messenger bubbles, and then pretty soon I'm just like, there's all these bubbles, and it would be a dope form of software, like instead of like Like when you're scrolling through, it would just be like more organic. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you're just so. But anyways, then you pick one dream and you go in the dreaming, and then it's teaching you things in this dream that are pertinent for you to remember to tell in the other like chat rooms, basically. So you like pull out, it's like a messenger app or something, and go into another chat, but they're dreams. And I mean, just when it first started happening, just the fact that that was happening was so incredible. Now it happens in the dark of my bedroom. I've had these, it's like disembodied energy shows up. Like my dream spills into my bedroom, and then my dreaming in my bedroom spills into my dreaming. So, because I use the darkness to witness energy, and once you learn to unlock that, it does show up. So, I've talked about the purple. Uh, there's a purple patch of energy that will show up if you can keep your so you keep your eyes open while you have a blindfold on, so that because if you have any light, it's really difficult. I don't need the blindfold anymore, even though I can't get this place pitch black, because eventually you don't need the darkness all to be totally dark, but in the beginning you absolutely need total darkness. So um, these are really cool things for advanced dreamers to do, and it's something that a new dreamer can learn. The blindfold thing, the dark room work. Dark rooms are typically used for recapitulating, like a small closet. But the discovery of what can happen in there in dreaming, especially after recapitulating for a while, kind of opened the door to realize, oh, this is some fast track stuff. You can get some stuff done. And so in our early years, we spent uh, in my first apprenticeship years in this huge crawl space that was under my parents' house. And it was super just, I mean, it was massive. It was like the size of a normal home, but it was just an unused space for storage. And we would use psychedelics and different things, and but you would spend time just staring in the darkness, and you start to unlock and see all that is available. There are inorganic beings. There are ways in which you can interact with the darkness, with silence, and with these colors that show up, and they teach you how to unlock them if you can track basically stay in silence and track and follow them, and you're tracking these patches of color with some other part of you than your eyeballs. It's like your whole being has to observe them, and then they start to show you scenes, entire scenes, or like sacred geometry. It's really, really powerful, you guys. It's so worth unlocking. But yeah, I spent years doing that. Now there are teachers out there using that trick to hook all these young Castaneda seeking apprentices, and lots of sort of un a lot of teachers that haven't dealt with their shadow, who are really, really, really into the power of it. Some of them even direct students of Carlos Castaneda that just simply are not teaching the whole thing. They're just using this one way um, to reach altered states really quickly, and it's intense because they're so convinced that anyone that suggests that they slow down or that they recapitulate and do all these other things, they say that those that we have counter intent, and that we were anti sorcery, and that we are like phantoms that are holding them back, and that they're the only ones that see. So they've gone far, far, far off the deep end with this the power, and they are really focused, really self-focused, and not in an perceiving things from a sober place. But it's powerful, and they're going to become very powerful. And it's just a sign of the times that this stuff is finally being this training, this knowledge, this gnosis is finally being um, put to use. It's of course it's going to be used in this extreme unconscious way that's going on in these because people are going to want the quick fix. They're going to want to do that which is going to get them their ego satiated as quickly as possible, but it gives them something outside of the ego. And I don't know. It's a trip to watch, you guys. All the signs are really strong. Things are really fucking happening. Um, doesn't mean the control matrix doesn't stick around. It's just that it's disassembling. It has to get really ugly and exposed before it just can't maintain itself. So it's exciting. Um, so my dreaming, I've replaced most of my shields, most of my out of balance shields with healthy shields. I've removed my social mask and replaced it with all the things I love. So I have a mask, but it's made that I made it. It's made of energy. It's not made of fear. Doesn't mean I don't have fears. Doesn't mean I'm whole. Doesn't mean I don't have pain and I'm not beat up and I don't have shit to deal with. I have a lifetime of stuff to recover from. Um, Again, but at the same time, in order to get to be okay in the world that I entered, I had to take care of myself in particular ways. So I do have gained certain access to certain understandings that has made it possible for me to continue to do this work on my own, with or without teachers. Um, so it's been a beautiful journey. My dreaming just keeps getting more incredible. Dreaming is not just something at night, right? So like to be able to perceive and expand your perception in all kinds of ways, all the time, whether you're at work, whether you're driving, that's what unlocks all this, guys. So it starts really soft. Go out and find the meadow and the tall grasses and the winds and watch nature. Let nature show you and captivate your perception somehow, whether it's microdosing or exercise. I mean, exercise is exorcism, right? You're getting stuff out, but then people become addicted to it. People find anything that liberates someone, they become a slave to that because we're just so conditioned to be slaves that when something cool comes in, then we like make it out of balance. Like with a dope relationship, we spend too much time with them, or we project our fear onto them. We do all that we're just not delicate. We're not soft. We're not light. We're heavy, dense, dense as fuck, right? It's almost embarrassing to be human, to be so unconscious. But I mean, what a gift. Like, wow, what a role to play. Like, I'll play that role for you. I'll be this completely unconscious creature. That's amazing. Thank you. Um, that's all you have to say is thank you. Even when I mean, you know, or I approve. There's so many cool ways. Whatever happens, I approve. I approve. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just keep saying thank you. What else are you gonna say? Fuck you. You can say fuck you. It is what it is. Like sometimes people are fucking with you so bad, you have to deal with it. You can't just pray things into balance, right? So it's okay to have a boundary. It's okay to be like, well, okay, this guy's actually fully fucking with me. I'm going to deal with this and call them out on their shit. You know, it's not like you have to be passive. Doesn't mean you'd ever like attack someone physically or anything. You're not there to hurt them. But if they're making your life impossible for whatever reason, there's a lesson. It doesn't mean you just roll over. But at the same time, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so gratitude and yeah, unburdening your life, right? So telling your story, dealing with the pain. I'm trying to deal with the pain with my father. It's really hard. I think in some ways I make it worse. And so I'm learning a lot. It's my wound, my old wound, wanting to be respected or validated. I think every male has with a father. Men tend to be very difficult emotionally to connect with. Um, Usually it's just held in, and so then it's all too much if it does come out, and I think it's just too confronting. And so these are real challenges that I'm trying to work through. And in my pain, I was able to get through into a lot of release with tears, and then my tears led to the most incredible dreaming. So I just hope you guys are doing that stuff, right? That you're feeling your feelings, and that's a warrior. Warriors feel their stuff, and the heart is going to be, you know, where we all meet, and all the chakras need to be healthy for that, right? So I do help people with the chakras. Some of their vortexes may not be spinning right, or they may not be spinning at all. But you can heal your own chakras through your relationships with your children, with your parents, with your boss. There's ways to become whole without anybody helping you. But it's so much harder, and it's okay to have a mentor. It's okay to have help. I I I still have and will always have someone calling me out on my shit. Um, but it's hard. It's getting harder to find people that uh, I align with, because the world's getting different. Um, I'm not able to work with people that chose to be uh, vaccinated. I'm not able to work with people that are entering the the new cycle in that respect, in that capacity, because that. And so I had some really powerful shamans that I was working with that I've gone a different direction, that makes that shifted me and them, and that set me free, and so it's been good, and it's all guided, and it's not a negative thing, but it does put me in a brand new environment. um, and as the world continues to present, as the control matrix continues to crash, you know the my world's gotten smaller in a sense, but like with my dad, right? Because like it it's starting to get scary. Like, well, they're telling him now that because I'm calling bullshit on the COVID lie and how viruses really work, and that the election was rigged, that I'm a domestic terrorist, and he agrees with that. And so now we're in a position. It's like, well, for a long time now, I've been asking you to like just consider that what I have to say may have some validity and is based on research, and but now the division's just it's just gotten so far away that I just don't even know how to I don't know how to proceed, to be honest. But I'm glad that I don't. I'm glad that my shadow is going through that I'm saying things I wish I hadn't, and then I'm learning from it. It's I don't want to. I'm not trying to claim that I just because I've had ego deaths and done some cool work that I know what I'm doing. I do know how to help people with the basics, just like I was helped. But then there's stuff that I need help with, and that's why I'm always looking to have people call me out on my shit. And I was given help this weekend, and it was powerful. But again, it just depends on you, where you're at, where your responsibilities are. A lot of you don't have kids and don't have to like provide, and that can be confusing too, because then you're like, well, what's your purpose? And you're not as driven, and so kids have been a real lifeline for a lot of people, but then you got to be like willing to like a real witch when they love their kids up and down and left and right and up death to death but as soon as they're not with their kids, they don't think about them at all. They're feasting their eyes on this magical world. They're not letting anyone else grab their attention, right? So you can be focused in this world and not be domesticated. You have to know that your attention is your currency. Your time is based on intensity, attention, and intensity. These things will change your relationship. If you're just thinking, oh, boredom or happiness, and then, that exits into something, well, the key to all this is that when we are willing to reevaluate everything and feel our feelings all the way through and not go on autopilot, the manual part starts to really get excited. It wants to be engaged in a beautiful way. And it's not used to being given an opportunity. The autopilot really has made us weak. The dreaming body will come out and celebrate the manual mode once you get there. And it's through sustained um, nervous system repair, right? It's like when you're in the parasympathetic state for long, long periods of time, like I would sauna to just stay in this parasympathetic state so that I could repair. Now I don't need the sauna because I can go into silence anytime I need and be there. But I had to fight hard to be able to control my nervous system for a lot of years. And so probably a lot of you have yet to gain control of your nervous system. Probably because you're trying to control your nervous system. You have to let go in order to have any say. You can't control anything. The control matrix going away. But what you can do is let your body guide you. Listen to your body. It will tell you what to do and how to take care of yourself. You'll have to start sleeping better. You'll have to start giving priority to where you're really at in your age, right? So that you don't have to have an age. If Don Juan in his 80s, 90s was stronger than people that are in their 20s because he was a shaman. So it just depends on when and how you apply your energy. Obviously, he was super rare. That's an extreme rare case. But we're moving into extraordinary times where the veil lifts, and we will be as incredible as that in our older years now, because I mean, this is beautiful what's coming in, you guys. You are already there. The stuff that you're holding on to, you're holding on to because you don't know how to not have it, because nobody's, you haven't gained or been around people and how that works, or you haven't studied something. Because this is no joke, and I hope and I trust that you will align with a system. You can use the Castaneda system. It will absolutely guide you, but it's thorough and it's long and it's a lot of reading. But you can also just use the stuff that they taught through me, through Clear Green, through there's places that offer this training. Um, you could find a badass Tai Chi system, the old school shit that's really powerful. There's ninja shit. There's all kinds of ways to hone your magical attention, which is dreaming attention, which is they call the second attention. And you don't want to go into the second attention recklessly. Shamans know that the second attention is very dangerous. They treat it with respect. So drugs and stuff aren't necessarily. I mean, well, there are power plants that are balanced, and I'm not afraid to use them, and I support people in what they're called to. But reckless entry into the second attention is just asking to end up in a mental ward or worse. And Don Juan said there are things worse than death. And I think we're starting to come to terms with that in this world, starting to see how things work. And so we're getting an opportunity to understand that freedom is more important than just being a fucking zombie, right? So I'd rather die as a warrior, right? But at the same time, even if the China fucking model shows up and we're all under social credit limitations, I'm still going to be a lucid dreamer and guide all of as many people into the second intention as I can so that we can escape this tyranny creatively. So I'm not going to just like, I'm not saying I would like end my life. I'm saying I'll never not be a warrior. And there comes a point where I can no longer be a warrior. Then I will have met my match, and I will have taken my spirit or my body. So stay in love. Stay strong. Don't let anyone change you. Don't let anyone make you do something you don't want to do. And just, if it's not a yes, it's a no. Practice witnessing. Use a tree. Ask a tree. Tell your story. Unburden your story, or just ask the earth to listen to you. Ask God to hear your story, but unburden it. Get it off your chest. There's some dope stuff in there. Stories, lines that you don't realize are rich as fuck. You are rich. You are larger than life. Your story is a miracle. How you got here is a miracle, and how you're going to leave here is a miracle. And everything you're going to do in between is everything you are. So don't be spiritual. Be magnetic. Be dynamic. Be willing to walk in and out of any situation. And don't put yourself above or below anybody, and you'll feel lighter and lighter. And unless you quit taking yourself so seriously, then you start to feel and see and be gravitate toward more holistic, beautiful people. Some of them are in the trade, some of them work at the bank, there's beautiful people in this world, and they're all about to become more and more aware of things. So don't be afraid to go out and meet and mingle and get to know people. Awesome. Thank you guys. Be well.